Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead, which is actually not where we are right now. We are at Sunny Cove Farm and I am with my friend Christina Snyder. And we are going to do a little bit of an interview today, which is exciting because I've never done one of these before. So Christina, thank you so much for talking with me.
Absolutely, anytime.
Really appreciate it. And who is this that we have here with us?
This is Miss Sayla.
She is so cute. I've been with them like pretty much all day.
Yeah, we've loved having you. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
down and being with us.
So to start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your family, whatever you want to tell us.
Sure. So we're here at Sunny Cove Farm, which is a third generation farm. I married in to my husband. And I grew up in the city. I grew up in Buffalo and came here 12 years ago, I guess. And my husband and I took over the farm in 2019, December of 2019. And we've just really had a passion for direct marketing, for raw milk, for organic regenerative farming, good morals, good conversation, all of the things in between, traditional skills.
Yes, which is wonderful. And so you've got 4 kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 4.
So cute. And they're all, it's fun because I'm here to interview her for, here, come here. I'm here to interview Christina mostly about the farm, but what's fun is she also is very much what I want to be in terms of she's just got some barefoot wild children.
Feral children around here.
Which I love. And they're definitely living the childhood that I want my future kids to live. So I love it. And I love spending time with you guys. So the first question that I wanted to ask you guys, my exposure to farms are mostly on the internet, and a lot of my viewers have the same situation where they're not really exposed to it other than on the internet, but they're dreaming about it and they want it for themselves. And so you guys are actually living that life, but you guys are doing it for real. Like, this is how you make your money.
Yeah.
And a lot of the YouTubers, they cherry pick what they show people, and rightfully so, just any content creator does. But I'm curious, as somebody who is doing it for real and is making your money that way, do you still feel enchanted by it? Like, are you still...
Yeah, like I said to you when we pulled up, like, we live a mile from the farm, so our homestead has like chickens and our turkeys, poultry garden, that type of stuff is down the road, and then the dairy part is a mile down. So we're here at the dairy part, and when I pulled up, I was like, oh, the cows never get old for me. I still like love them. We definitely have our hard days. There's definitely days where it's not romantic, and I'm like, why are we doing this? But the land, the change that we're making always draws me back. So it's a romance. It's like a real marriage, right? So that that butterfly effect in the beginning is kind of what carries you through, but then the relationship with the land, with the animals, keeps you.
I love that.
Yeah, you mean Gabby. We'll just pass her back and forth. Yeah.
You have so much to say. I love it. We'll do an interview with you next, okay? So actually, that was going to be my next question would be, so you are still enchanted by it, which I love to hear, and that's very promising for people. But what are some of the hardships or the difficulties, challenges that you face being a real farmer? This is your life. Like, this is your whole life. It's not a job that you get to just punch in and out of. Like, this is your whole life. What are some challenges that you face?
So there's 2 major challenges that we face, and the first one is just the government. Like, there's a lot of laws against direct marketing, and just they say they put them there for your protection. However, for hundreds and thousands of years, farmers have been able to sell their milk fresh, their cream, their butter, cheese right off of the farm. Even processing, like we have to drive 2 hours for a butcher where we could easily just do it right here. But there's a lot of factors involved, and there's just a lot of regulation, and so that's a huge obstacle. And then the other thing is that our food system's been so broken, and people have been misinformed and also removed from the source of their food so much that a lot of people come looking for cheap food. They come looking for they want a high quality food, but they don't want to spend the time to go to the farm to get it. Accessibility, all of that stuff comes into play. And so those have just been the major obstacles. We've really focused on education on our farm, teaching people how to cook. That's something that's really
those classes.
Yeah, removed from like the generation behind us, like the 20 and under, 25 and under. A lot of those kids don't know how to cook anymore. And so we're bringing back those traditional skills. We're talking about even like how to make cheese and bread, which used to be commonplace and now are like artisanal.
Yeah.
So
Artisanal.
that's been how we combated the barriers, is just educating people on those skills.
So those are some of the challenges that you're facing. And then, because I still want to make sure that for my viewers, I want to paint a picture of like what makes this hard and what makes this, I don't want to say easy, but like worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, obviously you're filling a need in our community, right? But then just for you as the person who's doing it, what lights a fire? What brings you joy? What makes you want to pursue this path? Because this is not an easy path. This is an immense amount of work. So what would you say?
So the biggest thing that's been my driver is, it first started with like a love of food. I mean, I said I grew up in Buffalo. Like, we are the food capital, I believe.
Buffalo, New York.
Of the United States. But so like my passion for food has always been strong, and the best food is the freshest food. And so when you grow it yourself, when you raise it yourself, you're using the highest quality ingredients. And then as we got older, I mean, I'm only 31, but we've just faced so much health challenges because generationally, I'm Italian. Lots of processed foods in my family's history. In my upbringing, I was raised on McDonald's. And so I'm paying the price for that as an adult. And food is medicine. I mean, I was just saying to Jerry, I have a broken tailbone, and I went carnivore just yesterday, and it cut my pain in half.
That's crazy.
And so just that's inflammation. That's, that's gut healing that still needs to happen. That means that whatever I was putting in my body, even if it was real whole food, it was still inflaming that area so much that it was causing me pain. And now I'm like hardly in pain. I can't believe it. And I'm only 2 weeks into this break. So food is medicine, and that's been my driving factor.
Absolutely. And you're like the perfect picture, because you're 31 years old. You've got 4 adorable little ones, and you're running a full dairy operation. You and your husband, and you've got other people involved as well. But it's just so interesting to me because, I'm 29, and I think your husband's 35,
36, yeah.
And so this is the next generation, and it's interesting because it's not well known. It's not like everybody's talking about this. It's almost like each person that I'm meeting and listening to has their own journey that they have to go on to be like, oh wait, this matters.
Yeah.
And it's very individual, I feel like, and that is both good and bad, I think, because it's good that it's happening, but it's also sad that that's what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, but it's okay. There's so many different gateways. For a lot of people, we see raw milk being the gateway, right? Because we're a raw milk farm. But, some people find sourdough bread. Some people make their own laundry soap.
True.
And, like, turn your waiting room into a classroom. Like, this is crazy how many people
somebody
are.
watches Roots and Refuge Farm.
How many people are just jumping into this and not waiting and not feeling like, oh, I need to have a farm. I need to. No, your healing starts now. Like, I remember when we first got married, and, like, I was making tinctures out of herbs that I foraged because I didn't even have garden space.
Wow.
So like it was really a traditional dairy when I came onto the scene.
Yeah.
My love of plants drove the garden and the vegetable operation, but we didn't have that the first 2 years, even though we had the land, because it takes time and infrastructure and money to build that. So go out and forage, like do what you can and start healing your body.
Pots on a patio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's perfect. This perfect segue into my next question, because that was going to be like, is this a lifestyle that you can like look at my audience and recommend? Like, is this something that you would be like, because it's so much work.
Yeah,
like this is not for the faint of heart.
No, I think that my husband and I have a special kind of octane in our body, right? Like we've taken on a lot of projects, and so when I laugh, it's kind of an exhausted laugh, because in 10 years we not only have like taken over the farm and built the farm into, a very diversified operation, but we've also seen the need for like a sustainable house building. So we moved our tiny house down the road on hay wagons, and he cut trees down to build a garage, to build a house that's timber frame. So like we've taken on a lot of ambitious projects as well, that are not necessarily a part of the farm, but they still are so important to like our message of regenerative and like leaving as little of a footprint as possible. And it is exhausting, but we have a village that surrounds us, that girds us up, and And I am so blessed, and we couldn't do it without our support system. So if
Yeah.
you have that and you feel called to, see, you'll thrive if you're in the area that you're called to. Like
That is
bloom where
so
you're
true.
planted. That's Kelby and I have as our
Oh, he has it
tattoos.
too?
Yeah. So that is our biggest saying is you need to like really focus in. If you're at a way station and you're just like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, really focus in on what you're called to, what are the desires of your heart, because I believe God put them there.
Yeah.
And then bloom right where you're planted. So use that as a starting point, because an object in motion will stay in motion, but a stagnant object isn't moving, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're just waiting for that vision to fall in your lap or that idea, it's a lot harder to get going. But
Yeah.
I said a lot of that, but basically in summary, it's if you bloom where you're planted, you will succeed.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think my own story that you guys have been seeing unfold is a testament to that.
Yeah.
So I guess really what you're saying is this lifestyle, not everybody can be a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to be a dairy
Right.
farmer. But if you're following, the passions and the interests that you have and you're making that work for you, then you're going to succeed in whatever it is you want. So if you are watching this and you do want to be a dairy farmer, then there's a reason that you're interested in that, and that is something you should pursue. But if you're just a mom with kids who just want to do better, then you just make the sourdough and forage the herbs
and find a farmer that you can have a relationship with.
Yes.
Like our farm's an open door. We love that you came down and hung out with us, and I think that's important, just to be connected to your food system. Not everybody's called to be a farmer, but everybody's called to be connected to their farmer, because we all
so
eat.
agree. Yeah.
So that's important.
That's a good word. That's really good. All right, so now I want to talk specifically about raw milk, because you guys do a lot of different things here, but your like big thing and how I know you is through the raw milk. So I want to know, what challenges have you faced getting raw milk into the hands of the consumers?
It's been an exhausting race. The law in New York State, where we are, is on-farm sales only. It's a very in stone law, but it's been open to interpretation. So other dairy farms have gone to like what's called a cow share. And so they've never shipped milk before. They have like maybe 3 to 10 cows, and they basically, it's like rent a cow. So they you'll like if you were a customer of a cow share program, you would pay a room and board fee, like you were boarding a horse.
Yeah.
And then you would also pay for your milk through that.
Okay.
So that would be the cost. So it ends up being very costly for the consumer, because it's a lot of upfront.
Yeah.
And some of those farms, it's like one time, like maybe $1,000 one time you buy the cow, and then you buy your milk.
Oh.
That's
still a lot of money.
But it's still a
though.
lot.
Yeah.
And so our heart was really to make this milk accessible to all families. And for 20 years, we just had the storefront with our raw milk permit. So we're licensed and inspected, and people just would have to drive to us.
Yeah.
Now you live an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And so do a lot of our customers.
Okay, there was a lot of noise, so we moved. Please continue.
Yeah. So we noticed that there was a lot of people coming that were neighbors, so they'd be driving from an hour and a half away, but they just missed their neighbor who also drove an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So we talked to a lawyer about like, hey, this concept of a CSA where we connect neighbors with neighbors and they do a shared pickup. And so what that looks like is basically you're in a CSA with 30 other people.
Yeah.
And you actually have a professor that picks up for you because she's here already. But all the other CSAs, they just rotate. So they just take turns driving out and picking up each other's milk. And that's really cool because we get to meet the CSA members, and they, get to meet each other and connect community with community. Have you met anybody on your CSA?
Tons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I love it because I love talking about raw milk too. And so there was this one guy that I met, and he was like, he was new, and he was like, I was telling him about my parents and how my parents came and saw the farm, and that sold them on it. And he was like, oh, I should have my parents do that because they're not sold on it either. And I was like, let me get your email address. I've got literature I can email you. So I love it because it's an opportunity not only for you to connect, but for us to connect with each other.
Yeah.
And you've talked about having like a
get together.
We
got
that would be so
too
fun.
big, too fast. I was
Yeah.
going to do them this summer. And I am working on, there's something on the works that is going to be really exciting. But yeah, I mean, we've created this community essentially of like-minded people. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of homeschoolers, a lot of homesteaders, a lot of people that are just passionate about healing with food or food access. And so that has been so cool to do. And that's been our answer to, we left the milk truck. We used to ship our milk. And we started these CSAs and people just started coming.
Yeah.
And it's been a huge blessing. And the other thing that we've always wanted to do, we couldn't because we weren't getting paid for our milk, the proper price, right? We weren't getting paid enough. We were getting paid under the cost of it. So when we left the milk market, we had the CSAs. We're open 6 days a week and we're closed on Sunday, but we still milk cows on Sunday.
Yep.
And so we kept talking about, what do we do with that Sunday milk? What's going to happen? And I said, let's finally open up a pay what you can program so that people can have access to milk that wouldn't normally. Our milk is $9 a gallon. That's what it costs us. And we're so thankful for the people that can afford it, that do support us. But we recognize that food accessibility is a real thing and that there are families that can't afford it. And so we have a lot of large families that drink 6 or 7 gallons that can come on a Sunday. We're open for just an hour and they set their price. And some of those people pay $2 a gallon, and then some people come and they pay $12 a gallon to help offset that cost. So
Wow.
it's really been
I
a
got
community
chill
thing.
bumps.
It's been amazing. And it just, because the government again will not give any like SNAP, EBT, WICs towards raw milk. So that you can unpack on your own, but we had to come up with a program on our own, and the community just really rallied and came out. And so we're able to get food onto people's table that are healing them that wouldn't normally have
That
access
is
to it.
incredible. Thank you. That's such good work.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
that's
so
incredible.
excited. I mean, thank you guys, because it
Yeah.
really, we
Oh.
thought we would be footing the bill for it,
Yeah.
and we've been breaking even, so
Oh,
it's been
I
amazing.
love that. So I'm assuming there's probably, well, I know that there is just from being in the homesteading community myself, but I know there's so much misinformation around raw milk, and
Yeah.
it's just because people genuinely, the information isn't there. Like if you put it into Google,
You can't find it.
right? So I'm wondering, being the person who's producing it and selling it, can you give me an example of having to overcome that misinformation?
Sure, yeah. We still have like community members that come up and they'll buy vegetables and meat from us and they say, oh, we want to buy your milk, but you have to pasteurize it because I don't want to get brucellosis. Well, brucellosis became obsolete almost 100 years ago. So there's just this misinformation about raw milk being dangerous. If you look at the actual science, which if you dig, you can find it, there's been more cases of people getting sick from pasteurized milk than there has been raw milk.
Yeah.
It's just because, again, there was an agenda that was pushed. And it's scary. We've all lived through different times in our life where fear has driven our emotions and driven our decisions. And we don't want to let that happen. But unfortunately, it's just not a priority for people to unpack. And so they've just accepted pasteurized milk as commonplace, and not dig deeper. But I was lactose intolerant, so I couldn't even drink milk for 18 years until I came to this farm, and all of a sudden I was able to consume any dairy. So it's really healing. It's a superfood.
Yeah.
And it's not dangerous if you know the source.
Yeah, well, and that's so important to me. And when we were walking around in there and you were showing me, you were saying all the right things, because I know, but I'm somebody who has researched it heavily. So I understand, like, you have to immediately chill the milk. Like, that's
Yeah.
really important. And I'm in a group on Facebook, not yours, a different group. And somebody was like, I got this milk and I just picked it up yesterday and it's already sour. And everybody was like, then you did not get fresh milk.
Yeah.
Even though they were advertising it that way. So it's
Or
really,
it wasn't chilled.
Right.
There's a lot of, and I'm not picking on a group of people, but Amish farms don't have electricity in the barns, right? So they're relying on like ice houses and things like that. And so if there's a flaw in that system, if it was a really hot day,
Yeah.
or even a farmer whose like bulk tank wasn't working properly, and that milk's not getting chilled, it will sour fast. The
Yeah.
cool thing about raw milk is it never goes bad. So it may
incredible.
sour.
Yeah.
Like we have CSA members that just might not drink as much that one week, and they call me and they say, what do I do with this last half gallon? And I'm like, is it starting to curdle? Is it starting to sour? And they're like, yeah, a little bit. And I'm like, make pancakes. Like,
Yeah,
use it
I've
like
done that.
buttermilk, and
Yeah.
bake muffins. Like, there's so many other things. You can make clabber cheese. I mean, the list goes on. So it's usable in all forms, and that's what's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
pasteurized milk, when it goes bad, it just goes bad.
Yeah.
It's not even chicken food. It's like down the drain.
We're done.
Yeah.
And the smell is totally different.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
A pasteurized milk that's gone bad.
Yeah. It's like a sweet sour is what I describe it as.
Yeah.
Like yogurty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last question, and I'll let you go. Thank you for giving me so much of your time.
Absolutely.
What are your dreams for the future of dairy production? What do you like hope that it eventually turns into? What do you want it to turn into?
Yeah, well, I want to see these small farms come back. I want to see, like, when we drive down the road anywhere in upstate New York, you just see abandoned buildings, abandoned barns, and it breaks my heart. It's not sustainable to have these massive dairies. I understand why the farmers have done it, so I'm not saying that they are bad. I get it. They're trying to cover their costs because there's a bigger piece to this puzzle, and it's not the farmer's fault. But I'd like to see it go back to the 40, 50 cow dairies that are supplying a community, that are serving with raw milk as well, and just accessibility. Like having raw milk in our stores or even just our farmers markets would be huge, because then you guys don't have to drive an hour and a half, you know, so it makes a difference.
Yeah, which I do want to say, because just for the sake of everybody watching, that we have it good here in New York. Our laws are actually, compared to some other states' laws, the fact that I can purchase it and it's not having to be like a hush hush, like I can just come and purchase it from you.
It's
like
legal.
You sign up for the CSA online. Like you have a website.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But there's so much room for improvement.
Well, if you go anywhere east of where we are, so like we're in like the Rochester, Buffalo, New York area. If you go anywhere east, there's like a big dead zone where there's no raw milk farms until you hit Hudson Valley.
Wow.
And so that's crazy. I mean, no more like legitimate raw milk farms that have permits that are advertising.
Yeah.
And so that's a big obstacle and barrier for like that part of the state. And that's why we want to be a resource too. If you're watching this and you are a dairy farmer and you want to learn how to get a raw milk permit and get started, please reach out, sunnycovefarm.com. That's our core. That's our mission. We want to help these farms.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier in your house, you had said kind of like that's like your dream. Like when you think like in the future, like big picture, you want to be able to help these other farms figure out how to do it.
100%.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. So you already kind of said it, but I still want you to reiterate, where can we find you? Where can we?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram and Facebook, Sunny Cove Farm. And then we're also very active on our website, so sunnycovefarm.com. We have a blog, we have a podcast. All the resources are there. And questions about raw milk, like even if you're in Texas, reach out.
Yeah, sign up. The website has the opportunity to sign up for a newsletter. Do that, because she sends out articles and different things that she writes, and throughout the week I always read them because they're great, full of information. And I'm glad that I already know a lot of it because I'm very much into this kind of thing. But for people who like just found you and just got into raw milk, you're a wealth of information.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
So they have a choice. So half of them are here eating the Baelish. Baelish is like dessert. It's like sweet hay. Time, isn't it? So they get let in. That baby's so big. And then this is like replacement age. So these are the teenagers. This is mineral salt, just like we need electrolytes, so they weigh out the minerals for them to go into the stand.
You guys have so many dang cows.
I know.
It's exciting.
It's crowded because it's that winter season.
Yeah.
So my favorite animals on the farm
are the goats.
Nope.
Oh.
Hey, big pigs! Hi, big pigs! I adore pigs. So the pigs are in the goat pen because they're rooting up and creating compost.
Ooh.
So this is a bedded pack that the goats were on all summer. And then now the goats, you can see, the pigs are like making those little tunnels.
Good job. Are they like friendly? Can you pet them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can.
Hi, big pigs. They'll give you kisses.
Oh, goodness! I've never even touched a pig before.
Really?
Never.
Every homestead needs a pig.
I want
pigs eat everything. They even eat meat. So like you can't feed chicken bones to dogs and things like that.
Yeah.
We don't feed meat to our pigs, but you can.
Yeah, wow.
And it's amazing. They're like garbage disposals. This one's so cute.
They're all so cute.
It's feeding time, so they're all letting everybody know. Hi. They're not normally that loud, but. So these are the youngest. Hi, babies. You can go right in with them if you want. I'll watch the gate.
Hi.
And they should come up and start
Oh my goodness.
The youngest one is that little brown cow that's like days old.
This one?
The one not in front of you,
Oh,
but that one.
this one. Littlest baby.
Yeah.
Hi.
That's not the size of them when they come out.
Wow. And are these little teenagers?
Yeah, well they're a little bit bigger. So these guys are like maybe 2 months old.
These ones?
Yeah.
And so these are just like weeks old?
Those are just born, yep.
Wow. Hi.
They get big fast.
They do. Hi. Wow. Oh, excuse me. This is amazing. So what breed are your cows?
So we actually have a major combination of breeds. We started with a Holstein herd way back when the farm was first started, and then bred to like mostly Jersey. And we got to like that almost 100% Jersey, and we started breeding to like grass-based breeds. So, and then also beefier breeds. So Simmental, Milking Shorthorn, Limousine, Angus. I'm probably forgetting some, but they're a combination. And what we're looking for are like good feet, good genetics for being outside on grass, good quality of life, not so much production. We want like a good butter fat, but mostly we're worried about like quality of life on our farm.
Love that.
This is where our milk comes into. This is called a bulk tank. So the importance with keeping your quality up and raw milk lasting as long as you can is rapid chilling. So that's where this comes into play. The milk comes from the cows. Obviously, we hook up this, which is a milking machine or a claw. It's also known as. It goes like this, and those are the claw gets hooked up to the teats on the cow and pulsates just like a breast pump. And then that goes through these lines and comes to the milk house in here. And then it goes through a filter, and it goes through this network of tubing into the bulk tank. And I can show you right here. The bulk tank is chilling it. Oh, we're almost out of milk.
Wow.
So the bulk tank chills it. Normally that would be spitting milk, but it's the end of a store day, so we're almost out. And then that keeps the milk as high quality as possible.
Nice.
So that's the key. And then we tell customers too, when you get your milk, you got to keep it as cold as you can. Don't leave it on the counter. And that way, a lot of our customers get 14 days out of it.
I do. Definitely.
Do you?
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely I do.
Yeah.